So today I'm going to talk about why do we do a year end in accounts. And sometimes people get a bit muddled with that. Nothing to worry about. What we're doing is we're closing off the data for 1 year and starting again in the new year. Now it's just convention that it happens to be a year. It could be 9 months or 5 years. But by convention and subsequently by law, we have to file accounts with Companies House on an annual basis, and equally we have to report to HMRC on an annual basis. But it also makes sense because if you were just rolling on the numbers from 1 year onwards and onwards, you'd have 17 years worth of income and 17 years worth of expenses, and that's just daft. It doesn't mean anything. Doing a year-end process means that you get a chance to tidy up the accounts, make sure everything's in the right place. You can have a review of what has happened. You can prepare reports for the shareholders to show what's happened in this year, and obviously do comparatives against what happened last year. Doing stuff on an annual basis means you can prepare budgets, and of course if you're preparing reports for raising finance, then doing stuff on an annual basis makes sense. So actually it's not a year-end process is a very useful thing to do, but what actually happens? Well, what we do, what accountants and bookkeepers do, is they look at the income and the expenses for any business, and effectively we zero them out. So whatever the income was, we eliminate that, and whatever the expenses are, we eliminate those. And so you start again from zero. Now, by taking the income and wiping it out and the expenses and wiping them out, we end up with a balance, which is either a profit or a loss. And what we do is we move that value onto the balance sheet. Now, the balance sheet, people always say it's a snapshot of how the business is at any one time, and that sometimes makes sense, but what I think of it as is the assets and liabilities of a business. So, for example, if I've got a customer who owes me £10,000 on the 31st of December, and that's my year end, well, actually, that customer still owes me £10,000 on the 1st of January. The value hasn't changed. So that sort of balance sheet nominal, I don't need to zero out. I need it to say £10,000. I don't want anything wiped out. If I owe someone £5,000, say, £5,000 on the 31st December, I still owe them £5,000 on the 1st of January. So this snapshot idea is about what do you owe at any one time, and there's only one balance sheet nominal that changes at the year end. And what is it? Quiz. Do you know? It's the retained earnings, or you can call it the profit and loss account. So effectively, the values that were in the profit and loss account for that financial year get shuffled over to the balance sheet and are stored there. So when you're looking at a balance sheet, you can always see what were the results for the previous year, and that's the only one that's going to change from one year to the next. And that's because we're scooping up all the income, scooping up all the expenses, and shifting them into one total column. Hoping that makes sense. It is a useful thing to do, and actually there's a misconception that software creates a new database for a new year. It doesn't actually. There are some softwares like Sage that once you've done the year-end process, it chops off and fixes in stone the year end, and then it becomes incredibly difficult to push the data into the previous year. So doing the year end, although you might do it, your year end might be 31st December, you might be worth waiting till the end of Feb, beginning of March, until you've had all the data in before you close off the accounts. Lots of other software, particularly the online software, means that they don't have this this divisive cut-off point, which means that you can then enter into the previous year whenever you want. And of course that can be deeply scary if it goes wrong, but don't worry about that. In good hands, that's not a problem. That's probably why I said it was catastrophic, wasn't it? So because it can be really difficult if you can't put data into the previous year, or you do actually, you just need to do it carefully. Okay, hope that makes sense. Any questions, you can contact me on rosemarybookkeeping.co.uk, and thanks for watching.